Hello everyone and welcome back to Matriarch Astrology. In today's video, we are going to be talking about Saturn moving into the sign of Aries on May 25th. So Saturn is all about discipline, structure, and reality checks. And Aries, on the other hand, is all about action, discipline, and pushing forward. However, Saturn may push the brakes on Aries' energetic energy towards moving forward and towards progression. So when these two energies mix, then we are getting a wake-up call on different specific areas in your chart based on your rising sign. So as always, we're going to start with Aries risings. Aries risings, this will be your first house, and this is all about you. And you are being asked to redefine yourself, your identity, and how you show up in the world. With this transit, you may feel like you are carrying more responsibilities, but Saturn is also asking you to wake up and have more self-discipline. Since the first house is all about the physical body, Saturn may bring an awareness to your aging, and you may take it a little bit more seriously in maybe eating more foods that help you progress as you age, or just taking on more, let's say, weight training to help support the structure as you age, like building more muscle mass as the bone density does tend to decrease with age, and just taking a more serious structured approach if that is the case for you. And also, just anything that has to do with the body. So weight management, a little bit more of a structured routine, whether that's through what you're consuming or what you're doing physically to keep your body maintained. Although Saturn's energy can feel heavy, it also rewards hard work and discipline. So with this energy, Aries will naturally want to do things quickly, especially if there's planets here. But Saturn is not about moving quickly. It's about taking slower steps, which can be a bit more agitating for the Aries rising, which wants things to progress quickly. But the lesson here is to not rush or not try to rush through any type of personal goals, especially if it has to do with your appearance or just your physical body. Instead, you may want to take more of a structured plan and plan things for the long run. So not a quick fix type of thing. Try to plan something that is going to take a long time to achieve, or something that's a little bit more structured that you incorporate daily. So you want to prioritize self-care, especially when it comes to the body, exercise, as well as eating healthy. Also, with this transit, make sure to see what planets you have there in the first house in the sign of Aries, because that will definitely give you a lot more detail and a lot more insight to work with. Next up, we have Taurus risings. Venus will be transiting your 12th house. Now, Saturn going in here into the 12th house will be like a spiritual boot camp. Now, I do practice Hellenistic astrology, and Saturn is said to be in its house of joy here in the 12th. With Saturn here, you're going to be clearing out any subconscious baggage that you have been holding on to, which may indicate that you may have to face some subconscious fears. With Saturn here, isolation may be somewhat unavoidable during this transit. Now, I can attest to this because I just went through Saturn in the 12th house, although it is different because it is not in the sign of Aries. Mine was in the sign of Pisces. So I took that as a seclusion for myself, isolation, if you want to call it that. It's a little bit more of a heavier turn, but to me, I took it as a retreat for myself to work and practice on those healing type of themes. So think Pisces. I did do ayahuasca during that transit where Saturn was in the 12th, and that's about doing the heavy work, but of course in a spiritual 12th house way. And yes, I was more isolated and secluded during that time, but I do kind of prefer that anyway, so it wasn't that hard for me. So retreats, being alone, and secrets are all the 12th house themes here. You don't have to do something big like ayahuasca. You can just take time to be alone, work on your mental health, or even just start a spiritual practice on your own. Your sleep habits could change with Saturn here in the 12th, or you just may naturally feel to withdraw from the noise of everyday life. So therapy or journaling or just a little bit more of alone time is going to be something I recommend with this transit. If you are somebody that is used to constantly working and pushing through fatigue, you might not want to do that with this transit. So don't resist the need to rest, because Saturn here in the 12th is a period for karmic release. So make sure to pay extra attention to any intuitive hits you get or even your dreams. Next up, we have Gemini risings. Saturn is asking you to become more serious in your social groups, your networking, as well as your long-term goals. During this transit, you may outgrow certain friend groups or social circles, or there just may be a type of shift in your social life. This is a transit where if you have a lot of friends, or if you've been out and very social with groups and, group circles and things like that, during this transit, you may notice that those people tend to fall apart or fall away from you, or you tend to retreat due to whatever circumstances going on. There's just this energy of retreating and not being so outwardly social with groups, and even probably potentially losing a couple of friends. Now, that's not always the case. It goes case by case here, and just pay attention to any planets here that you have in the 11th house. And I have already been through Saturn in the 11th house, although not in Aries, but during this time I did remove myself from a lot of social engagements that I was, partaking in, and it was pretty lonely. I didn't have much friends at all during that transit, but it was very necessary and there was reasons behind it. So just know, if any friendships are tested during this time, only the strong friendships will last. So make sure that you are spending time with people who will help you grow and evolve as a person. Quality over quantity is going to be key during this transit. And just know that Saturn always rewards effort. So those networkings that you may have, just know that the long-term ones will pay off, but it's not a quick satisfaction like Aries energy wants. Next up, we have our Cancer risings. Big career shifts are coming here as Saturn enters your 10th house. Also, if the midheaven is here in the 10th house, you want to pay extra close attention to your career. So Saturn moving here into the sign of Aries is more of a boss-like energy. You are going to be stepping into more responsibility, or may feel like you are stepping into more responsibility. And although it may not feel easy, just know that hard work with Saturn will pay off in the long run. Saturn rewards discipline, structure, as well as consistency. Now, since the 10th house rules status and career, this could also manifest in delays. Maybe you might have thought that something was going to come to you sooner, and Saturn's energy here may have you waiting for something, or feel like there's a pause, or like things are not moving quick enough as you were anticipating. And I know that the Aries energy loves things to be quick and yesterday, but with Saturn, it's about putting a pause on that, or just moving really slowly forward, which I know can be very kind of like stressful for the Aries energy that likes things to move pretty fast. Other way that this could manifest is authority figures that may try to challenge you, or you could take on more of a leadership role at work that has more of a long-term impact. So the way this can manifest is all going to depend on your specific chart, but however this plays out, just know that if you stay consistent, stay disciplined and structured, you will be rewarded by Saturn's energy here. So lots of patience at work, Cancer risings, and just try to stay structured and disciplined. Next up, we have Leo risings. Saturn will be moving into your 9th house, the house of beliefs, philosophy, as well as spirituality and foreign travels. Now, as well as higher learning, so think like college. There are many ways that this could manifest, and please make sure to check any planets that you have here in the 9th house, planets in the sign of Aries, because that is also going to give you more of an insight on things that may manifest for you. But one way that this could manifest is maybe taking a more serious approach to studying something long term, or even just going to college to study something. And this could be something more longer too, so not something that's pretty quick and done. Think like course, 3rd house, college, and something that takes years, the 9th house. Saturn here could also have you questioning shifting your worldview. If you were one religion, you could shift and then decide to be, let's say, more philosophical or more spiritual. Or you could travel abroad to study something. So this is like the people who study in foreign countries, like they go to a college for, I don't know, however many years or months to study something. So that can also be another manifestation here with Saturn in the 9th. However, with Saturn energy, you could expect some type of delays in long-term journeys. So if you were planning a trip to go abroad or take some type of long excursion or something like that, Saturn's energy may delay that for whatever reason. So it could be just the flight itself, or something's not working out, or the finances, but however that manifests, it's like some type of delay or pushback to that plan. If you are studying, this could also indicate that you take more of a rigorous course. So really taking time to study, spending hours studying on a subject, and really feeling the weight of Saturn, which is not always something, great and grandiose, but just know that Saturn does reward hard work and effort and discipline. So slow and steady wins the race with Saturn here, whatever it is that you're doing. If not any of those, and you're just more, let's say, shifting to a more spiritual or different religious view, it could indicate that you're taking more of a serious approach. So maybe taking more serious when it comes to some spiritual practice, and maybe even studying it more seriously and being more disciplined on incorporating that into your daily routine, or just incorporating it into your life. So if you are wanting to go back to school or college or study something, this could be a great time to do it, because Saturn gives you the structure and discipline and the holding power to stick to something for the long run. And it may not be as comfortable because it is in the sign of Aries, which Aries wants things to move fairly quickly and wants things to be done really quick. So there's this impatient energy that comes with Aries. So there may be some friction there between wanting things to be really fast and then having Saturn come in and put the brakes on that. So just know that it is good to have Saturn there to help you, but you may not be comfortable with it at first. Next up, we have Virgo risings. Saturn will be going into the sign of Aries in your 8th house. The 8th house is about fears, as well as what we inherit both physically in the world as well as karmically in the spiritual world. This house has an energy of a psychological rebirth. So some ways this can play out is some type of financial restructuring, some issues that may surface when it comes to deep intimacy, or having to confront mortality in some type of way. Or it could just be time to cut off any type of toxic ties. With Saturn coming here, you may have to face any fears around intimacy or control. So therapy or financial planning could be very beneficial with Saturn here in the 8th. So just know that Saturn isn't the bad guy here. It's not here to, be the boogeyman and make things hard for you, but it does require order and discipline. So it brings things to the surface that were not working to be removed, and then putting something else in place that is more stable and that can, be more of a solid foundation for you. So that may be hard with the Aries energy, because Aries may want things, to be quick and not really pay attention to the specific details. But with Saturn coming in, it's more of a let's set something up that's actually going to last for the long run. So that may be a little bit of a friction there. So it may not be comfortable, but just know that it's there to help you. So whatever it is that you do set or you do start here, so whether it's therapy or some type of financial planning, just make sure that you stretch it out and it's something that is suited for the long run, not a quick fix. Next up, we have Libra risings. Saturn will be transiting your 7th house of partnerships and marriage. So Saturn coming in here is going to have you really taking a reality check on your partnerships. If the relationship is already solid, then it will just become stronger. If the relationship is not strong or based on a solid foundation, then Saturn can really call for a restructuring or even an ending of that relationship. 7th house also rules contracts and open enemies. This could manifest as feeling pressured in relationships or feeling like there's more responsibility in the relationship. or you just could be reevaluating your commitments, or you could end up having to deal with some type of legal matters. So don't be afraid, as Saturn does test relationships, but it does strengthen those that are built on solid ground. So make sure that you don't force any type of relationships, as Saturn here is more about commitment and structure, as well as clear boundaries and also maturity. Next up, we have Scorpio risings. So Saturn here is going to have you rethinking your health habits, your work, and your daily routine, and where things in this type of field need some type of restructuring. Some possible manifestations could be that the work environment can become more stricter, or you could have some type of medical issue that requires more of a long-term management, or you could just burn yourself out from overworking. And with that Aries energy, there can be a tendency to maybe get hot, move too quickly with things, overwork just to get things out of the way. But Saturn moving into this house is going to ask you to slow down and get more structured. So just know that Saturn here is teaching you that small, steady changes are better than big, quick changes, because Aries energy wants, a quick fix, things to happen yesterday, and Saturn is here to say, no, we need something that's going to last a long time, even if it takes, longer to implement. So you may have to incorporate something into your work or health habits that kind of like work in the long run. Next up, we have Pisces risings. Saturn entering your second house. Now is the time to start focusing on your self-worth, money, as well as your security. With Saturn here, there's just this energy of having to get more serious about our money, where our money is going. Are we saving money? Are we, being responsible with our money? You can just end up rethinking about things that really matter to you. Especially if it's like that you were putting a lot of emphasis on material things, and during this transit you may notice that, I don't need all this stuff, or I find value more in experiences versus material objects. That's just one manifestation. Please make sure to check any other planets that are here in the second house, as this is a very general read. I do not have your personal birth chart. Saturn being here could manifest as having some type of financial delays, or feeling like you have to find a way to budget your money. However, any discipline efforts or structures put in place now will benefit you in the long run, because Saturn is about putting in discipline and order and structure, and it does reward effort put in. Don't try to get into any of those quick, get rich quick type of things. Just know that Saturn does reward patience, not shortcuts. So that is the quick breakdown of Saturn entering into the sign of Aries for all rising signs. So just know that Saturn does push us to step up in different ways depending on which house it falls into, but just remember that Saturn does reward the effort that you put in. So let me know down in the comments below, which house is Saturn going to be transiting for you? If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.